So I'll stand and pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Need a motion and a second.
I make a
to adopt
motion
tonight's agenda.
to adopt tonight's agenda.
I second it.
Any additions to that? Not, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Approval of December the 4th, 2023 minutes. Motion and second for that, I'll say.
I'll make a motion to approve December 4th, 2023 minutes.
Second.
Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Public comment. Citizens may speak on items not listed on the printed agenda. Please state your name and address and observe the 3-minute time limit. Do we have anyone signed up?
No one present.
No one? Okay. Moving right along. Presentation of Davidson County Fraternal Order of Police for Lodge 97, Mark Hicks retirement and 30 years of service.
Mayor Ward, Tommy Staley is out sick, and he said he would try to reschedule that for the following month.
Okay, so we'll put him on the agenda for next month. Great. Approve Davidson County Economic Development Commission bylaws. Angela, would you speak to us on that?
Mayor, Commissioners, as many as you, sorry, I'm tongue-tied and I'm probably losing my voice at some time tonight, but just to start over. As many as you know, that the EDC was restructured starting about the first of last year. Davidson County has decided to take in the EDC board into their internal office. Casey Smith, the county manager, has been working to restructure that, and he is also overseeing everything as far as the rewrite on everything. We did approve to have Mayor Ward serve as a representative and Commissioner Morris as our alternate. The bylaws that are before you are just a revamp of what we have had in the past from the former EDC board. Nothing really major that has changed. Mr. Smith and the county commissioners have reviewed this and approved it. It just needs to be approved by each municipality in the county in order to stand as their bylaws. And I know that you and Commissioner Morris have served. If anybody has questions or any more information y'all would like to provide to the board, that would be great.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion needed on this item? If not, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Approve updates to the town ordinance X regarding public access to town facilities. Angela, you.
Misty Whitman and I and the chief have looked at the information on the ordinance. Last month we approved some wording changes to public camping and also on our animal ordinance. And Ms. Whitman had mentioned that we do need to also state what is considered a public area or town property. And so the ordinance rewrite before you states each property that is owned by the town and what area is considered to be public and what is considered to be private. It is in detail. It does list from town hall, police department, fire department, public works buildings, and public utilities. It also takes into consideration your civic center, your outdoor market building, town-owned parks, and it is for the safety of the public and staff as well that we adopt this this ordinance in order to update those. And this really came about, and I'll ask Ms. Whitman if she has any more to add to that, due to First Amendment auditors that come into place and want to video you in your workplace. You know, here at Town Hall, a lot of our area is open, but our work area is not open to the public. But, you know, our facilities are not. So water plant, sewer plant, our public works building, they would not be allowed to be in there filming and taking video of our actual employees at work or the processes that take place during that day.
And there's been a significant increase in the First Amendment auditors in a lot of the larger cities, and so we anticipate that continuing to feed down to smaller towns as well. So it's one of the things that we really need to head it off at the pass and make sure that we have these things in place.
And we have taken some steps here at Town Hall, and I believe at the police department as well, as far as you'll see labels on doors that say employees only, so that way that, you know, whether we say it or it's there, then that lets them indicate that that is a space that's not allowed for public viewing.
What does that mean, like the park? Can you video anything there, I assume?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
The park is a public space, but not in the restrooms or anything like that.
Right, but the farmer's market is in here when we're meeting, you're good to do, you can do that, okay.
You can video, you sit in here when maybe, right, there's nothing meetings.
And it does state that as far as what the rights are to video during a town meeting as well.
There's really no work area at the farmer's market, is that correct?
The farmer's market area, I mean, it's an outdoor market.
I assume that's all public?
It is, and you know, I just saw that too, Scotty. I appreciate you catching that. It should be considered non-working areas and should be public. So that is a misprint. So outdoor market area would be considered open, public open area. Now, the outdoor market building that's listed, the building behind the open market is not considered public because it's used for storage. It's not an open building for them to be in or visit. So we can list that separately. Maybe just do and do outdoor market to list that it is an open public forum.
Yeah, I think the Civic Center, Angel, read that one too. That one, maybe just a miss.
Well, there
Or-
is.
What? Or is it?
So there is an area that is designated as office there for the
Okay.
county. And so I just left it as administrative office. It's that little side room that used to be storage.
Beside where the kitchen is or
Mhm.
whatever.
And
Okay.
it stays locked when
Okay.
they're not there, but when they are there, if someone were to come in, that is considered their administrative part. So we kind of just left it as administrative office to cover them.
Okay.
So we'll just add in and add outdoor market. All areas of the open market are considered public areas. And that it would have the same description as the public owned parks.
One, two, three.
So, this one is the one that they approved last time. You just gave
That's
us
just
two
the rewrite,
information.
right,
Yes, so it's already approved because it was approved pursuant to those changes.
yes.
So you only need to approve this one. Chapter 10,
Section 8G.
Section 8G.
Okay, I make a motion that we approve the updates to Town Ordinance X, Article A, Section 8G, with the correction of the outdoor market to be all areas considered public.
I second it.
Any further discussion on these items? If not, all in favor to approve, say aye.
Aye.
That motion carries. Unanimous. Appoint members to the Town Advisory Board. Angel.
So we have, both advisory boards, our Parks and Rec Board, and our Planning and Zoning Board. For our Planning Board, current members to be seeking reappointment is Dick Johnson and Kenny Small. Dick Johnson and Kenny Small have both served on the board for numerous years and have been an asset to that board. Barbara Hogan, who has formally exited a seat vacant to become commissioner of the board, leaves a seat vacant, and then we had a vacant seat that was left open from a former member not being able to serve in the full capacity. So we have two people who have applied, and both of them are residents of the town. We have Lisa Brock, who lives at 145 Forest Park Drive. And we also have Wyatt Suggs, who's at 77 Meadowdale Drive. And both are seeking a position on the Planning and Zoning Board. On your Parks and Rec Board, Sam Grimes was appointed last year to serve a one-year term to finish off that open term, and he is seeking reappointment. Sam's been a great asset to the Parks and Rec Board. He's been a very active member of that board. We've also received application from Zachary Logan Berg at 66 Old Camp Road. And Mr. Berg is very active in the community. He has served volunteer with Denton Wesleyan Ministries and also Central Methodist Church in Denton. Various other groups involved in the youth. So I think he would be a really good asset to the Parks and Rec Board as well. Staff recommendation is to appoint these that are seeking a position. Does anybody have any questions that I can answer on any of those that have applied? We are still have one seat available on the Parks and Rec Board, and we have done a push out to see if we can get any interest in that position being filled. So if y'all know of anybody we can reach out to directly, please let us know. We'll be glad to do that.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion that we reappoint Dick Johnson, Kenny Small, and appoint Wyatt Suggs and Lisa Brock to the Planning and Zoning Board. Just everybody's clamoring to get in there.
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? That motion does carry.
You need a motion for Logan. I want to make a motion that we appoint Sam Grimes on Parks and Rec and Logan Berg to begin Parks and Rec.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? That motion carries.
Hey, on Parks and Rec, when are we gonna get this calendar to approve? You know,
They are going to complete it this month, so they meet 2 weeks from yesterday. They had gotten almost completed, but there was a couple questions about one of the events. They wanted to make sure they had it correct before they brought it before y'all. So we should have it for our February meeting.
Appoint a representative to the Davidson County Solid Waste Advisory Council.
I spoke with Mayor Ward about this board earlier today, and we've had an appointment to the board before. Debbie Harris has reached out to us from the county asking for a representative. It can be a member of our board, or it could be a staff representation on that board. They're just looking for someone from Denton to be there to guide. It's a board that actually provides guidance to the landfill for their rules and regulations and such. So I reached out a couple weeks ago to see if anybody had any recommendations or felt strongly about volunteer for the board, but I hadn't heard anything back from you. It is a board that meets on a Thursday every other month, and it is a 10 to 12 meeting. So it is difficult for those that work outside of town to be able to serve on that board.
Bobby, don't you be on that?
I can't, if it's during the day, or it's school.
I know.
Only one.
I know Mayor Ward said he would serve if no one else did, or at least get in the board and find out what we need and see what the times are and things like that. See what the demand is of the
Man,
board.
like she's self-employed. She's not here either.
No, I'm
Is that-
not here.
Oh,
Yeah. Anybody make that as a recommendation? So, okay,
Well, I was going to say he couldn't even, because it's during the day, that's such crazy hours.
I know, it is, well, most
So
of the
they all
county
get
boards.
paid, we're the only ones don't get paid.
Right.
Everybody goes to the meeting, gets paid with us normally.
So, do you want Mayor Ward to serve maybe the first time around and see what the board
Maybe
entails?
see what it is.
Okay,
What was,
Really?
or what kind of day? It's on a Thursday?
it's every other month, the third Thursday from 10 to 12. So, and I think the first meeting is next Thursday.
That's not the
So, I mean, it's quick, so. Okay. Okay, we'll do that if you don't mind, Mayor. I'll reach out to Debbie and get the first meeting for you. And then, when Commissioner Bean returns, if that's something she feels strongly for, we'll see if she's interested in serving. Okay?
And you said it could be somebody that's not one of us.
They did say that it could be, if the board, no one on the board had the time to serve, it could be a staff member, or if you had someone from the community, but they really are looking for someone in town. So. Okay.
So we're not gonna appoint right now, I'm just gonna go.
And unless you go and attend and see.
Okay. If Fan says no, I'll do it. Okay. If it's okay with the board. Town department head reports. Police department. Mike James.
Mr. Mayor, members of the board, good evening. We recently implemented the police officer selection test exam for our BLET paid attendees. And Dustin Ward and Jacqueline Breland were selected and will attend BLET starting this month. One will start at Davie Davidson Community College, the other will start at Randolph Community College. One January the 8th, the other January the 10th. The police department now participates in the North Carolina ASIC, which is the North Carolina Information Sharing and Analysis Center, which is under the umbrella of the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation, which allows us and other agencies to share information on wanted people and crimes and trends of folks committing crimes in the event they're crossing jurisdictions, which I think helps us and enforcing the laws of our state. We also recently, through the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, started participating in E-Trace, and Captain Shear does that. Recently, he responded to a call at Bombay Park where a weapon was displayed. He made an apprehension, seized a weapon, and the E-Trace was very helpful on that occasion. We were able to track the owner of that gun, and it's currently taken off the streets and currently resides in our evidence room. And without E-Trace, it would have been hard to find out who the owner of that weapon actually was. Jennifer Myers just graduated from BLET on 12/13. She passed the state exam on 12/15. And it's my pleasure and high honor to introduce to members of the board, Baran Kashif. If you'll come up, Baran, I'll tell you a little bit about him. He previously worked a short time with the Asheboro Police Department. He reached out to me and came out one evening, and we rode through Denton. And his words were, after a couple hours with me, he said, "I love this town." How could you not love this town and its people? So he wanted to come to work here, and he has been sworn in informally. And later on, if the mayor and you kind folks want to do a more formal swearing in, we can certainly do that. But he actually started today rather than yesterday. We gave him a holiday off already. But we're very glad to have you here. He's a graduate of Stockton University in New Jersey. He has an accounting background. I'm not sure what attracted him to law enforcement, but we're certainly glad to have you here, Baran. And if you want to make a few comments, you certainly may, sir.
I'm just going to say something quick. It's an honor being here. It really is. When I rode through town with Chief, like one look at it and like I was in love with this town because like the people, everyone seemed nice, close together. I prefer a smaller town than like a big town over Asheboro. So that's why I'm here, and I will try my best, to the best of my ability, to serve this town and the people.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Glad to have you.
A little update on our WatchGuard server implementation. Pursuant to a grant written by Captain Shear, the police department has a new server, and this will allow us to save all of our digital files from in-car cameras and the body cam that I am wearing tonight. All that digital data will be stored there. Our plan is, hopefully, if we can get it done, and if our friends in Thomasville, they're switching to Axon, I'm hoping that the chief there and the leaders there will be gracious enough to give us some of their infrastructure. If so, we might be able to actually download wirelessly all of that data. If an officer pulls up in a police car at the police department, it'll be done, whereas now we have to physically take this off or use a jump drive for the in-car cameras and save it to a digital device. So it'll be very nice to be able to get that done. But Motorola folks will be here at the end of January, 1st of February, and that process of getting everything ready will start at that time. The 2018 Dodge Charger that we purchased from the North Carolina Highway Patrol now has a radio installed, and within the next few days it should have decals on it. We're waiting to get a firm date from the folks in Asheboro, but that should be done very soon. Thanks to your support, we have new computers, either laptops or PCs installed at the police department, which now we can get on the computer without the clock spinning for 20 minutes. And thank you so much for that. It has reduced employee frustration, and it certainly has enhanced employee morale. And thanks to our manager for helping with our IT person in getting that done. And he was here today doing some work as well. Equipment has been ordered for the used 2019 Dodge Charger. Once it's received, it will be marked and assigned to patrol our streets. You would think as long as it takes to get equipment that COVID is still playing a role. You would think we were still in pandemic days. I don't know why it takes so long to get equipment, but it takes a long time for some reason to get equipment for police vehicles. The Denton Police Department uses the same records management system and CAD system that Davidson County uses. I recently inquired about our crime statistics, wanting to do a comparative analysis of where we stand now based on previous months and years. And we were told by the lady at the sheriff's office that since this transition to Motorola in May, that no crime stats have been compiled, and they're still working to get that process implemented where those stats can be sent to the State Bureau of Investigation, which is part of the FBI's NIBR system. And I'm not sure what the holdup is there, but as soon as we're able to retrieve that data, I certainly want to provide it to you folks and our citizenry, because I think that is important on how we're performing as a police agency. I will say at the time I wrote this, I had 2 applicants, and I now have 3 applicants that are currently certified that have expressed an interest in full-time employment with the Denton Police Department. Implementation would require Commissioner Board approval, as this would be our 7th position that was taken away several years ago. So before we could proceed with any backgrounds, we would need your approval to do that. And as you know, we have 2 going to school. It'll be about 6 months or thereabouts before they graduate, before we can recognize the benefits of them here on our streets in Denton. Recently, we've had several incidents where locks have been cut off storage units. One incident where a storage unit was entered and a brand new generator that was bought for a Christmas gift was stolen. At the time I wrote this, we were recommending that people use the shoulder locks that are not as easy to penetrate as the regular padlocks. I'm pleased to report that after this was written, 2 of our fine citizens, by helping our police department, an arrest has been made, and that individual, who actually resided in Denton many years ago on Meadowdale, last I checked, he was in the Davidson County Jail where he belongs. And I think we want to send a message that we're not going to tolerate that in this town. And if you commit crimes, then our goal is to place those people in jail so people's property here can be safe. I don't know if you got the calls back to our Motorola issue. I gave it to the manager. I don't know whether we gave it out or not, because it didn't seem to be real accurate.
Yeah, we didn't provide it because we were not real sure on the figures that came out, and Chief and Captain are both still working on trying to get a better report for you out of that system. As you know, we've not had one since the county did switch over to that system. If you wanted to just do a highlight, you can.
You know, it shows we, and I say we, that's us, fire department and EMS in Denton. I believe there was 572 calls during the month of December. But I got a little leery of that data when it showed we had 20 runaways, and I think we all know we did not have 20 runaways. So I have emailed CCOM and said, hey, this doesn't seem to be accurate, so I'm awaiting a response. There's got to be some glitch in the system, and somebody much smarter than me hopefully can determine why it doesn't appear to be accurate. The other thing I noticed in investigating the storage units, I was really hoping to rely on a camera in the front of this building, as some locks were cut off the storage units right across, and discovered there is no camera in front of Town Hall. And for the protection of our employees, I strongly recommend that. We generally keep the back door locked, but if somebody were to come in the front door to cause harm to one of our outstanding employees here at Town Hall, it wouldn't be recorded by camera. So at some point, I strongly recommend that we do that. I'm working on disposing of the 1988 blue van that's parked at the old Public Works. Our town manager has drafted a document that I will take to former Sheriff Heggie that he will hopefully sign. He's indicated he would. I will complete a form with the Division of Motor Vehicles, which will allow us to get a bond on that vehicle of about $100 bond. And I'm told by people that collect cars that that van is a collector's item now. So hopefully we can generate a little bit of revenue for the town. Once we get that done, it will involve a DMV inspector coming over and inspecting the vehicle, the VIN number, and completing his paperwork. I'd be glad to answer any questions you may have on police operations.
Chief, on your seventh van, one of those, or I guess you got three applications.
Yes.
They're sworn officers, they could go to work right away, is that correct?
That is correct. Now, we would have to do a background. Sometimes when people leave other agencies, they leave for a reason. So I would want to make sure they're suitable. I wouldn't want to put somebody in a position just because they're looking for a job. I want to make sure they're absolutely a perfect fit. They're a person of integrity. I have no reason to doubt that at least one of those would be that person. But until we do a background, I couldn't tell you that. But we do have three people that want to come here and go to work. And they are sworn. And as soon as we could get the certification back from Raleigh, they could begin the training period.
What kind of time frame you think that would be?
With getting the background done, I would say it would take us 2 to 3 weeks to do a background. We'd like to travel to that police agency that they worked at before. That's not required, but it's recommended by the current Director of Training and Standards. And I think it's prudent to always do that, to go to that other agency, look at your personnel file, and that helps us make a wise hiring decision and make sure we're not hiring a problem from somewhere else.
So 30 days they could be in a car.
Yes, depending on how long the turnaround for the certification is back from Raleigh. They've been certified, but we have to do a background, jump through all the hoops again, or most of them, and then wait. There's 2 people in the state of North Carolina now that do backgrounds for training and standards. There's also some that do it for sheriff standards, but just criminal justice training and standards, there's only 2 people for the whole state. So sometimes it's taking 5 to 7 weeks for that paperwork, once we send it to Raleigh, for it to make it back where we can actually swear them in. They've been very kind to us, and they got bronze back. The director now used to be the chief in Burlington, and he was gracious enough to say he would work a miracle, and he did work a miracle. So hopefully he can work some more miracles.
And our cadets or whatever, they're 6 or 7 months out
Yes,
if everything goes.
correct. Yes, sir.
The utilization of this 7th officer, would that give us 2 people on duty on Friday afternoon, Friday night, 2 people on Saturday? How would you utilize that other person?
That's something we've not talked about, Ryan and I, but I think our goal would be to look at our busiest times and make sure we've got 2 working. You know, as I told you previously, having backup is important to our folks, and that's one thing that I've learned in talking to some people that have departed. I think some of them left because they were going to a larger agency where there was backup. So I think we would, and one thing I've noticed in what I did pull, whether it's accurate or not, there are times for calls in these documents I've got from the Motorola Flex system. And I think that's something we would look at is call volume. And, you know, to me, having 2 officers out at night when it's busier would be a wise thing to do.
So the 7th person would not have 2 people at night 7 days a week, just on the busier times.
Right, and
Okay.
it would allow the captain and myself, right now I'm wearing so many hats, I'm not sure I'm doing a great job at any of them. So it would allow me to do the chief's job, and it would allow the captain to do more of the captain's job. Yes.
Mr. Mayor, hearing that, I make a motion that we approve a seventh man.
I second it.
Any further discussion needed on that? All in favor, say aye. Very happy.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your support more than you will know, and I promise you we're gonna do our best to keep our citizens as safe as we can. So thank you very much.
And congratulations on catching the breaking.
I salute our citizens, because if we can get them involved, we can keep making good things happen, and appreciate what they did to help. Thank
Ladies and
you.
gentlemen, thank you very much.
Fire department, Brandon.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. We do have a updated version of what was in your packet. It should be total incidents of 21. That's the incidents is what changed. Everything else should be the same. It's just the fire incidents is what got updated with the department head meeting being around the 21st of December. The fire department in the month of December, we participated in the parade lineup with closing of the streets. After we did that, the parade, we did have some discussions with Parks and Rec members on moving forward with the streets. If we could get a meeting scheduled before the next parade. That way there was no confusion going forward on who was closing down streets and everything, because there was a little bit of confusion with the citizens on what was closed and what was open and how to exit town. So moving forward, we'll be working a little bit closer with Parks and Rec with the parade on the street closing. Staff continued to paint and completed all the painting of the town's fire hydrants within the city limits. A fire grant update from the state. It's usually closed out by September, but with the delays and everything with Motorola, we've had to file for extensions, and we're still working with Motorola on receiving our pagers to be delivered. I did talk to Shirley with the state of North Carolina today, and they are going to pay out and go ahead and close our grant out. We should get a check direct deposited in the next few days to close out the grant, which will be great because the new grant process opened up this afternoon. So we'll be in line to apply for the next fire grant. The Davidson County Public Safety Association met at the beginning of December. We talked about purchasing a new SCBA fit test machine to replace our old machine. And again, one was purchased. We will trade in the old one that the association has. It knocked about $1,500 off the cost. So each department that's a part of the association will share the cost of about $9,200, I think. So I don't know what that comes out to be, but it's about 22 departments on that. And then just working on staff evaluations, getting those completed. Again, upcoming tasks. The state grant opened this afternoon, January the 2nd. The FEMA grant, I've contacted 2 individuals about writing a FEMA grant for our department on SCBA's. The grant will open January 31st and close, I believe, in March. So kind of a short window and not a lot of time to prep for it. So I'm still waiting to hear back from those 2 individuals, and if we strike out, then we'll travel some other avenues. Tomorrow at 9 o'clock, I'm meeting. The association is meeting with state legislators Jarvis and Potts to discuss some of the possibilities that the state of North Carolina could also provide the fire departments with funding or, reduction in training hours for the fire department, the volunteers, and issues that arises. And then another meeting, January 25th, with the Hill and Springs Fire Department. They've invited all of their mutual aid partners that surround them and us to discuss shortage of staffing within our agency's working relationship response plan and training opportunities between all the fire departments here locally. The month of December, we ran a total of 21 incidents, 8 fires, 1 fire alarm, 3 traffic accidents, 3 EMS calls, and 6 other public services, tree downs, things of that nature. With that, if there's any questions as far as the fire department, I'll be happy to try to answer.
How's our staffing?
Currently we are staffed to the max. We're working 3 individuals now going forward. There were from July when we got approved for 3. We've had several guys out with either injury or family medical leave, and so staffing has been shorted. We've been staffed with either 1 or 2 guys for majority, but from November, December, and then the month of January, we've been staffed with 3. So,
Thank you, Mayor.
thank you.
Public Works, Michael High.
Well, the month of December has been mostly leaves, brush, and reading water meters. In between them times, we've worked on the Christmas lights some, put in several clean outs at houses that didn't have them. Had 8 water leaks we fixed, 6 sewer backups we fixed. I've been letting Rick and myself and another one work on the lagoon at the water plant, trying to get it finished. We got it about half done. We helped Troy take a gear drive off at the sewer plant and send it off to be repaired. And just our usual work order stuff. That's about it for Public Works. And, the meters took a week, and like I say, brush and leave, brush and leave.
You wanna go ahead and review the water plant?
Well, I gotta sit down first and look back up.
No, you don't. Not unless you want to.
The water plant, I took Ricky with me. We washed all the basins, got them cleaned and out of the way. We've been painting the water plant, probably half done on it. There's a lot of paint going on down there.
Oh, it's really good.
Doing some equipment asset and trying to figure out when we need to replace some stuff that's giving some trouble. Getting quotes, seeing how much everything's gonna cost. Chemical pumps, the big broad water pump, or the big finished water pump that's you talk about all the time. We got a quote on repairing it. Like I say, the lagoon's about half done. I've got the new raw water control pump installed. Now you don't have to walk up and down the steps to change your flow for raw water coming into the plant. They're putting in the pump control to turn the water pumps on at the river at the water plant again coming up. He had the flu. He's a little behind because he's also doing a SCADA system. It's about half in. Been working on the building quite a bit. Some concrete repair, putting in new pumps that had gone out, replacing water lines throughout the plant that's completely clogged up, patching the concrete on the basins, repairing the sample sinks, unstopped the lines to feed carbon and KOMNO4 again. Got that done. We just got to get some pumps to put in there to redo that, get it going again. And kind of went in
unauthorized negotiations with Handy Water, and we can now control their water tanks from the water plant. So I don't have to sit down there, the operators don't have to sit down there and wait for pumps to come on at 3 o'clock. And then you spend another 4 hours filling their water tanks up. We can cut them on now at 6 o'clock in the morning if we want to. Fill them up and be done with it. It's helped a lot. You know, if we had that little snafu the other day, if we hadn't have done that then, it would have been a whole lot worse than it was. Luckily, we was full. We had plenty of water left. You know, we handled it pretty good. But other than that, that's about it for,
How many hours you working down there as an operator,
depends.
in general?
Well, over Christmas, he worked quite a bit because we got down to the end of December and your part-time people were out of hours. So Michael carried several shifts for that.
And Jason,
And Jason's working part-time because he's full-time somewhere else. So Michael's had to do that.
we had me, Tiffany,
And Otis is completely
Jason.
retired.
yeah, me, Tiffany, and Jason. Or Jeff, me, Tiffany, and Jeff, that's,
We do have
yep.
one employee who starts his schooling next week, 2
Yeah.
weeks.
Yeah.
And so by the time he finishes school and sits for his exam,
That's
It'll be
what, May or April.
yeah. But it's a 6-month process on him. He's been with us 3 months. So Michael and I talked today about, you know, when Rural Water was there on Sunday and we talked to them, they're seeing this everywhere. There's not operators that are out there available for work. And so we're gonna see if we can hire someone else and train them, just as we've had to do with the police department, and put them through school to get them certified.
It's 6 months.
Yeah, it's a 6-month process.
Ain't no cut, no corners, 6 months.
But who is ORC now?
Jason's still serving as ORC. He's still doing our state reporting.
He's just in
And,
name only.
and then Jeff, well, no, I mean, he's there. He works.
Yeah. He works about there's so many hours a month you have to
Yeah.
work.
And then Jeff Isley serves as the backup ORC. So together, they do that, but
But they're both part-time, is that right?
they are.
Jeff's retired and Jason's part-time.
And I have talked to Jason. We've had a conversation. He emailed last week with some questions and stuff, and he wants to have a conversation about potentially coming back. But you know, as I indicated, you guys, I was out Thursday and Friday with the flu, so I told him we would get together this week when he was off and can talk. So Tiffany's also, you know, she's pulling more than her weight on shift, but you know, there's potential there that she may be ready. Just like, you know, Michael and I had the conversation today. Even if she were ORC, you still have to have an operator, and so it may put us in a worse position if she were to step into ORC, because she loves working nights, and so then you've got to worry about hiring someone who would want to work that third shift.
Yeah, and she wants to work nights.
Yeah, she enjoys that shift. And she told me when she first started with our town that she took that shift because nobody else ever wanted it. And so she was the type person who she wants to be where the job's needed, and she knows that she's needed.
There's a lot to be said about nights. You don't have to see or speak to anybody.
True.
You go a month, never talk to a living soul.
I wouldn't like it.
How many hours a day are you there each day working?
We work 16 hours. So, you know, 12 to 8 and 8 to 4 is typical.
And how often are you there? You have to go
If
every
he does a
day?
shift, it's 8 hours.
So are you getting paid for work plan?
Yeah.
You get paid for that, and then
Which right now, they usually got me working. I work every Wednesday down there. I usually work every Monday down there, and every weekend. That's usually what my shift is, average.
How does that affect public works when you're down there? How's that work?
Just a phone call away. I mean, I'm up here 4 days a week, 4 days a week.
And I will say his staff has picked up. He is full staff at Public Works, and so Michael has, you know, indicated to them that when I'm there, I'm working at the water plant. So you have to crew leader and you have a full team. So he has, really pushed out to them the importance of them doing their job, and they have stepped up to the plate. I will say they've done a good
I
job.
can fuss at them over the phone just like I can in person.
Okay.
Tell us exactly what happened to you today.
To best of my reasoning, we're gonna say it was a burp.
Big burp or little burp?
Well, from reading all the data and all the operators' logs and everything, I went through everybody's logs. This problem started Saturday at 11 or 12 o'clock. For the simple fact, it takes 4.5 hours for water to enter the plant to get to the filters. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I've timed it. It's 4.5 hours. So the operator worked Saturday, shut down at 4 o'clock. When Tiffany come in at midnight, the filters was brown. Looked just like the river. So that tells me there was not a drop of chemical being fed from 12 o'clock Saturday to 4 o'clock Saturday when he shut down and left. So when Tiffany got in there, she tried to correct it. It didn't do her no good. She called me. I went down there. I worked on it a couple, 3 hours. We thought we had it going, then it just died again. I called Jason. When he got off work at 8 o'clock, he come down. We thought we had it again. Worked good for about another hour. It died again. Jeff Isley come down. He looked it over. He didn't have no more insight than anybody else did. I called Keith from Rural Water. He's the smartest man I ever knowed in water. He come down. We done extensive jar testing and drawdowns on pumps and everything we could do. We pulled samples of the chemicals and done specific gravity tests and pH tests and all to make sure the chemicals was good. We got all that done. We determined the chemicals was fine. So the best thing we can figure happened is where the chemical pipe goes up the wall and turns and goes down into the flash mixer. Somehow a lug of air got in there. And when the pumps would build up so much pressure, it would push the chemical over the wall. When the pressure let off, the chemical couldn't push through the air. So the plant would get a dose of chemical and it would start to straighten it up. Well, then it would run out of chemical again. So after we figured that out, it was just a matter of 4 hours to let the plant cycle and get the filters clean again and start making water. But if I'd have noted Saturday at 1 o'clock, it would have been fixed Saturday. But once it's done, it's done. You got to start all over. But like I say, at no time was we lowered it half tank. We had half tank on our tank. All the Handy's tanks was half. An hour before we started making water, I got a low level alarm from North Main. They still had 70 foot. But I did get one alarm from North Main. They was down to 70 foot in that tank and it holds 109, I think.
Okay.
And our clear well still had 12 foot or something in it. So we could turn pumps on. If there'd been a fire or anything, we could have flipped the pumps on and we'd have had plenty of water pressure. I just hate it took so long, but it had to check everything. That's aggravating. One little bitty thing, stop the whole water plant. And that's it.
Thank you, Mike.
Mostly we've been dealing with the rain. We've had about 9 inches of rain in December down there, so we've just been spending some time down there keeping the pumps running and keeping the solids where they're supposed to be. David did pass his grade 1 biological treatment operators test this past month, so that was great. As Mike said, they removed the drive unit from clarifier number 4. We've sent it off for repair. Come to find out, it's cheaper to buy a new one than it is to have it repaired by a couple of $1,000s. So that we're expecting that this week. Also, we are expecting Sanford Electric in to come and take a look at the treatment plant, find out some of our electric problems that we've been having down there. This stems primarily from a junction box that's in the ground that's filled up with water over the years. And we're starting to see some shorts around the plant. So Sanford Electric's coming in this week. We are in talks with the owner of Joel Sexton's daughter since his passing to get that agreement for us to be able to land apply our biosolids. So that's one of our long-term our projects to be done this month. We've also started collecting and compiling all of the information for all of our annual reports. We've just about got the annual wastewater report done. And then I started working with Robin today with the local water supply plan. That's the report that gives us our water loss every year. So I started working with her today about getting that information. Let's see. We inspected the pump stations each week, and our annual chlorine and sulfur dioxide service was conducted in December. That's really about it. You have any questions?
Have you heard anything on your?
Oh, no, sir, not yet. I haven't, no. That's still in the works.
Is it got to be custom made or?
Each one is going to, because every
The
footprint.
sides, I mean, the base part of it, universal, I guess? Or is it-
I'm assuming it comes in different widths.
That's-
So, and that's, 2 foot or 4 foot, and they may have to build up or take out for it to fit in that footprint. But
You should be a rocket scientist, right?
right. Is that it?
Administration, Paul Hager.
Okay, so I had shared some stuff, back when we did our budget and things that I was looking to try to accomplish. And so we did get the roadside signage up at the community market. The corbels were placed and painted, put up. I do want to say thank you to the fire department for completing the painting of the fire hydrants. Trash receptacles were ordered. They came in with several damages to them. I provided you pictures of the damages. I've been in correspondence with the manufacturer as well as the trucking company. So we are now at the stage of trying to finally get that reconciled. I'm waiting on a reply back from them. Of course, one blames the other as to whose fault it was. But upon receipt and inspection, there was no way to get those off the truck bed because they did not have a pallet jack. So Michael and Brandon got up in there, realized that a couple of the pallets were damaged. A couple of boxes, the cardboard box just sat on it. It was not banded, which told me at some point in time that band broke. They probably got thrown around some. So anyway, I'm still working with them, hopefully to have that clarified soon. So that covers that. As far as the planters at the front of the community market sign, that's taking a little longer than expected. Had a couple of quotes given to me. One was the rock portion is not that bad, but the labor portion was quite expensive. So I've reached out to another, which explained that he was having some health issues and wasn't going to be able to get to it at this time. I have gotten another contact that I hope to reach out to soon for that, to maybe get an estimate on that.
Our website, we are continuing to work through that. Elizabeth's been very diligent to work with them on getting things set up. I did ask her to provide a couple of images just so you could see what, we're working on. Not just say we're working on it, she is actually working on in depth. This is not all set in stone. It is being designed by them, but she has given quite a bit of input on stuff that we need, how things need to look to make it cleaner but user-friendly as well. So I do appreciate her work on that. She might can elaborate more on that, but anyway, that is where we are on that. It is still in the process. It does take time when you have so much data on there that you first need to clean up and also pull into the new site, especially minutes and those sorts of things. We had talked about, or I had mentioned to you that I would like to see some murals at some point. I was approached by the gentleman that has painted some in Thomasville, and he shared that he has a way of applying for a grant that would help to cover some of his supplies or most of his supplies. In that process, I did reach out to a couple of people just to see if there was the opportunity of using their properties to have these murals placed. Jason at Cantor Shoes has given permission. I'm not certain of the painting that was originally there, and to me, just speaking from doing some artwork myself, it never looked like it was completed. So that would be probably the first location we would do. Of course, I've asked this gentleman to provide some images. I've given some insight of a couple of things that I would like to see. But of course, we would have drawings for approval before we would move forward with that. I've also asked Mike Morris, and he's spoken with his sister about the side of the building at 15 West Salisbury. That building faces the community market, and he and his sister did agree that they would allow that. Of course, they would want to see what we were wanting to place there before moving forward with that, and I did explain that of course we would share that as well. So that's where I'm at on that. Long-term projects, I had done some research on artisan markets, visited several artisan markets, and I would like to see if we would be able to make a go with that, to hold that at our community market area. We did speak to several people that were here during the fall festival. Several of them shared interest in doing that. Of course, we would reach out to others as well and have a variety. We would not have multiple people selling the same thing. So if we can get it worked out, if we can get everyone lined up for that, I would hope to be able to start that in spring of 2024.
Oh, I have a question. Have you ever thought about asking the local artists here in Denton to see that have been on the art guild when it was a Denton art guild, to see if they'd like to paint? Like Danny Hill and some of them, Jennifer Tillison, she's been selling her stuff big time. I mean, that's just a thing.
I can certainly reach out to them. I don't know Danny Hill, so.
He's my neighbor. He's the one that does art classes down at the community college. But, so I thought maybe some of us local artists could do it for cheaper or save you some money.
Anything we do, of course, we will have images for the board to see and approve. Just kind of taking a visual of what I'm seeing in other towns, kind of with our spin on it. So anyway.
And I used to set up at Lexington Market. It's really cool. It really is really cool. close all comments.
As far as in office, we're moving through day by day with calls, questions, and payments. So I don't really see anything there necessarily to report on. Just daily business as usual in that aspect. Any questions?
I do have one thing on the history here of the thing. That right there where it says, where the artifacts were found, it wasn't at Lowe's. It was where the food, how do you say that grocery store?
Food line.
Yeah, it's-
LINE.
yeah, it's where Dollar General is now. That's the old food line. And that's where they found that. Just thought I'd tell you, because it's in the, I got some books I can show you too. But it's not at where Lowe's Food is. It's where Food Line once was, which is now Dollar General. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that one.
Yeah,
Interesting.
guys out of Ashburn.
Russell Wall.
Brothers, 70s.
Yeah.
69, 70, 60.
Yeah, 60s.
Okay. County Attorney update, Mr. Wood.
Thank you, Mayor. So it's been a busy end of the year. One of the things that we were trying to do is make sure that we went through all of the existing ordinances to make sure that they're where they need to be and are current with the changes that are coming and need to happen. So we probably will have some more recommendations moving forward, but Angel and I are working to try to tidy those up. We also spent quite a bit of time talking about engineering and architects, which I think Angel will probably be talking with you more about that. The only other thing that I wanted to mention, I don't know what the situation is in Denton as far as emergency shelters or warming centers, but I just wanted to let you guys know that Thomasville has recently approved an emergency overflow shelter because Thomasville doesn't have a homeless shelter either. And the closest one is the Lexington and the High Point. But we did get an emergency overflow shelter approved at his father's storehouse in Thomasville. So if you have any folks that don't have anywhere to go and Lexington and High Point are full, that is another resource available to them. And then during the month of January, when it's anticipated to be colder than normal, there's a couple of facilities that are talking about doing emergency warming centers. So those are not overnight, but they are places that folks can go in and get warm. So just to make you aware of those resources in case that's needed.
Town manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you to the department heads for providing the reports this evening. I greatly appreciate all the information that you shared with the board. Just want to go over everything with you. I do not have it typed out, but I will send it to you. As I stated, I was out last week, but a lot of it has been provided to you by email. I just want to put it into record. Have reached out to Summit Engineering regarding our project on Broad and Spring Street. I was not able to actually talk with Mike or Bobby today. I emailed and called both of them and could not get them by phone to see where they are on that project. When Mr. Kivett was in town just before Christmas, he called and said that he did discover a valve that was over half closed in the vicinity of Broad Street. So he was hopeful that that would help with some of the pressure that we've been experiencing, the issues there. But I should have an update for you tomorrow or Thursday, so I will reach out to you with that. Chris Coyer is working with Haynes Paving on our paving project. They had to go through the bonding company to provide our bond on the paving. It took 3 rewrites for the bond company to approve that bond for them to do the work for the town. And it was just minor things that they were kind of being very particular about, not anything that had to do with us or Haynes. But we did receive that last Friday on the 29th, so they will be moving forward with their paving for the town streets. He did also reach out to the DOT to let them know that we would have some AST that we do want to put on that list, and so he'll be handling that for us as well. Sanford Electric, as Mr. Branch mentioned, does electrical work for the town. They've done a lot of projects at the water plant. They are also the company that's doing our generators. They've replaced the generator at the raw water intake, and the generator at the water plant is in production. So when I called to say, what does that mean? Because it was supposed to have already been here. They order all the parts. And as soon as all of the parts come in, then they put it, what they consider in production. The representative with Sanford Electric said that most of the time when it goes into production, it's 2 to 3 weeks production time, and then they coordinate with them so that when they finish at the plant, it's delivered to the site and it's installed. So they're looking at mid-February for that installation date, if all goes well in the production part. And he said, I told him, we've been on order since last September. And he said that it is running anywhere from 18 months to 3 years to get these generators built, because every piece is, waiting on a company to produce it as well. So they are, they felt good that we were getting it as soon as we were. USDA, I did reach out to them about our town hall project, and they're getting a list of items together to provide for me that we need to provide to them. And speaking about that, Ms. Whitman and I spoke this afternoon. I did reach out to Paul Briggs, and Paul was very interested in coming and talking to us about handling the process of the contractors for the town hall project. So I have a meeting set up with him on Friday at 11 o'clock here at Town Hall to just kind of get him up to date as where we are. He wanted just kind of informal, and he said he would look at everything and see if it's something that they can handle. They have a few projects they're working on locally, but they also have a big project that they're scoping out for a company out of Florida. So he's got quite a bit on his plate, but he said he would like to see this project through for the town. The SCADA system, as Mr. High said, the gentleman who's installing that has been dealing with the flu, so he is a little bit behind on getting that completed for us. The system is going in, and I think it's going to be great. As we talked to rural water representatives on Sunday about it and what we look to accomplish with that, they were real pleased with moving ahead of that. Look through. The Duke Energy, as I've stated, they have installed lights all around town in different areas. The two main areas that I'm still waiting on them to give us our projections on, coming into town on 109 from Thomasville, so entering from the northern part of town, and then the southern end of 109 there at Tractor Supply. The Tractor Supply will be an easier layout. I'll be honest, I'm not sure why the representative is having such a hard time getting that one developed through his engineering group. But the area within coming into 109 there at the Classic Restaurant complex will be a little bit more time consuming. It will be costly. It will be something that the board will have to look at and approve for a budget amendment, because there's no if you notice, there's no poles that are in that area. So it'll have to be an installation of poles and lights and lines and things like that. So we'll definitely have that for you, but I just don't have an expected time frame from them. The North Main flooding issues that we've experienced, I did reach out to DOT, and Jamie Burkholder is the actual engineer who's looking at that. I've been sending him communication from Ms. Matthews that lives right there in the area as well. Commissioner Morris has sent photos. I've asked the police and fire department as well if they have to go out to close the road at all. Document it, let me know what the depth of the water is, directional flow and things like that, because they're not going to be here when it's taking place. But if we can provide them as much information, they can look and see, they can determine, number one, is it an issue with their tile? Is it an issue on private property? Or is it an issue, where's the issue stemming from? So we are still working with them on that. Let's see. I spoke with Mr. Hannah today at Handy Sanitary District, and they are still on schedule to meet with us on January the 18th. They would like to do 5:30 if that is okay with the board, just to meet here, and it would just be a meeting. They are not used to having a meal or refreshments, so Daryl said he would prefer that we just have the meeting. So is 5:30 okay with the board on that? Okay.
I hope so.
Okay, okay, all right, so I'll confirm that with him in the morning. I did just, we did just do a generic meeting, with the board. It's just, a roundtable discussion of the town water system in the Handy Sanitary District. Mr. Hannah had a list of items that they would like to talk about. I asked for information from you guys as well, so if there's something that you specifically want us to talk about, let me know so that we can get the background work together before that meeting. But it's not it's just really our system, what we're doing, what they're doing, our grants, their grants, that type of thing. So, Labella, I did reach out to Heather and ask her to provide us with a monthly report, and with it being the holidays and all, I did not have that provide for you today, but I will reach out to her and make sure that she knows that we need that report from her. It should have the information on there with the bar screening project, because as she was here and presented to us that it was due in December, so to the state, and I'm not sure with December being a short month for working days, that may shorten or make the time longer for us to get that back from the state for approval to move forward on that. But all we can do is just keep pushing forward, and hopefully it won't be quite as long as it has been. Is there any questions that you guys have, something that we have not covered this evening? I'll be glad to try to answer those for you.
Angel, in the budget last year, did we get a grant writer in there? I know we talked about it.
We did. I think we did about $10,000 in each department for a grant writer. So I know with the fire department, they're reaching out trying to see where that's going to fall or how much it's going to cost if we can get somebody. Engineering firms do that. Everybody seems to be covered up because there's so much money available right now. So if we can get them, there is funding there for it. So I don't know a going cost, and I don't know if Brandon had any idea on that either. There was a lady that was doing it locally, but when I reached out to her, she had no time.
So we got 10,000 for fire, 10,000 police, 10,000 for public works.
We did fire. We did fire, public works, and then Troy asked for a grant writer. So
yeah.
Those departments. Yeah. So
now using.
Yeah. So the other thing that that Missy and I did talk about was the grant writers for our water and sewer department and what our obligation is for our engineering firm. We have had 2 recommendations that are for engineering firms that are huge in grant writing. One is Wooten, and what's Steve's last name, Troy?
Chambers.
Steve Chambers. There are 2 engineering firms that work towards grants. I mean, that's really all that they do. They've had a lot of awarded grants for municipalities. Wooten has most recently worked a lot with Montgomery County, and so after talking to Misty about that, we're going to reach out and see if it's the pleasure of the board to see if they're interested, if they have time, they could come talk to us and get on their radar, have some projects that are ready to apply for grants when those grants are available. Because otherwise we're just going to keep floundering on that and potentially missing out on those funds.
And speaking about funds, have you been notified about the state budget where we're going to get $2 million or how we get it? Or?
We have not been notified. Today, when Daryl and I were talking, he was talking about their funding that they got. We, for whatever reason, they've not indicated to us how that money's going to come to us. So I have that on my to-do list to try to reach out to the state treasury and see when we can expect it and if there's stipulations to that funding coming in.
I don't think, Sam didn't think there was, but he.
Yeah, when I spoke with Mr. Walford too, he said he didn't think there were stipulations, but when are we gonna get it? If we know that it's coming in the next couple of months, then we can go ahead and put something to that. So
Is
that's
this
what
the
we're
American
working.
Rescue Plan?
No, this is actually $2 million that we were,
Just try to-
included into the budget.
Oh,
So,
that's good.
yeah, we hope it'll go a long way, but with the cost of everything, we'll
And is
get
Sammy
budgets.
working on the hydraulic study or is Lobella?
Somebody's
Or is
actually,
anybody?
somebody's working on it. And because they had the dealings with that whole, Tower Mountain Estates, and they did the engineering work for the water lines, and they've taken that, Bobby has really taken it and run with it. When I spoke to him just before Christmas break, he was hopeful to have us some maps and diagrams of everything very soon. So once that's all done,
They look at the whole town?
he is.
Okay.
Now Bobby is. Now his main focus right now is that area because of our issues that we have going on currently. But he's going to look at the whole town for us. So
Yeah, and my only other comment is, before we talk to any more architects, we need to figure out what the board's willing to spend.
oh, absolutely. I just want to see if, and as I talked to Misty this afternoon, to see if Briggs is interested in it. Because,
Yeah, I mean, that's fine, I'm just saying, somewhere, this group needs to get together and say,
yeah,
we're willing to spend $2 million or we're not.
Absolutely.
Or we're willing to spend
And that was-
$500,000, whatever.
right. And at our former meeting, we talked about seeing what can USDA do for us? Is it gonna be can they do a full coverage of that, or are we gonna have to look at other options? So there's a lot of ifs that go into that, and as soon as we can put all those pieces in, we should have that more information about it by our February meeting, but if we potentially have it before then, we can call a meeting and just review it. I do think it is a good idea that going forward, if we do a subcommittee on having someone who is like a liaison for the board who serves on that town hall project, it would be a good idea to have that representative there who could meet throughout the week if the engineers need it.
So do you go by the plans that Paul Briggs did at once?
No,
or do you
it'll
go
be-
by- He's gonna be looking at the ones this other person.
Correct. He is going to be looking at the plans that we went through Fuller Architect to provide for him, which would include the bathrooms on the outside of the building and then the whole revamp of the inside. And you can look at it as phases. We've talked about that before. I think it's just a matter of we can get his eyes on it and see if it's, number one, is he interested? Number two, can we do it in a phase process? And where can we start? And then come back to you guys and look at the cost. So, does anybody else have anything this evening?
Anything? Okay, commissioner comments and concerns, any at this time? Announcements, January 18th, 2024, meeting with Handy Sanitary, and that's changed to 5:30 instead of 6 o'clock. And Board of Commissioners adjournment. I need a motion
I
and a
make the
second.
motion we adjourn.
I second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, now adjourn.